South Africa's political arena has been thrust into turmoil following a major development that has sent shockwaves through both domestic and international spheres. For the first time since news broke of an international arrest warrant issued by the United Kingdom for Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, leader Julius Malema, President Surro Ramaphosa has publicly addressed the matter. Speaking from the Union buildings in Pretoria during a joint press briefing with visiting European Union leaders, Ramaphosa confirmed that his office had received detailed briefings from the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, as well as the South African Police Service, SAPS, regarding Britain's legal action. Carefully choosing his words, the president stated that his administration was aware of the warrant and would act strictly in accordance with constitutional principles and the rule of law. He emphasized that South Africa, as a democracy governed by legal institutions, would follow proper diplomatic channels and judicial processes when dealing with the case, declaring firmly that no individual, regardless of political stature, is above the law, whether in South Africa or anywhere else in the world. His comments were widely interpreted as a measured attempt to navigate a politically explosive situation while preventing further polarization within the nation. Reports reveal that a UK magistrates' court issued the sealed warrant in connection with a sweeping investigation into money laundering and organised financial crime. The investigation revolves around a British-registered corporation, Rutherford Consulting Ltd., which prosecutors allege acted as a laundering front for illicit financial flows linked to influential African political figures. According to the UK's National Crime Agency, NCA, and Interpol, Malema is suspected of directly or indirectly benefiting from more than £4.2 million, approximately R100 million, routed through offshore accounts linked to Rutherford Consulting between 2020 and 2023. Authorities allege that Rutherford Consulting disguised these transfers as consulting fees tied to fabricated Pan-African land reform initiatives, when in reality the funds were allegedly redirected into encrypted cryptocurrency holdings, luxury European estates, and high-end legal retainers. British investigators claim the scheme was specifically designed to mask the true source of the money and shield the transactions from international scrutiny. Malema, known for his fiery speeches, radical populism, and outspoken criticism of Western influence in African affairs, has vehemently denied all accusations, dismissing the UK's legal actions as politically motivated retaliation disguised as due process. He labelled the warrant a manifestation of colonial hostility, a charge that has energized his political base and intensified hostilities within South Africa's already deeply polarized political environment. In contrast, President Ramaphosa's response took a dual approach, assertive in principle yet diplomatic in tone, reflecting an effort to assure international partners that South Africa upholds the rule of law while avoiding actions that could further antagonize EFF supporters. He stressed that his administration would not interfere with legal proceedings in any jurisdiction and reiterated that South Africa remains committed to obligations under international treaties, including potential extradition requests from the United Kingdom. At the same time, he underscored that Malema, like all South Africans, is entitled to the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, cautioning that political identity must never be used as a shield for wrongdoing. Behind the scenes, however, diplomatic pressure has reportedly intensified. Sources close to the presidency claim that Ramaphosa has faced escalating demands to break his silence as tensions rose. According to diplomatic insiders, the UK Foreign Office even summoned South Africa's High Commissioner to London for urgent consultations, insisting on transparency and cooperation in accordance with the 2003 extradition treaty binding the two nations. This treaty establishes procedures for extraditing suspects while ensuring their due process rights, but the political weight of the Malema case has raised questions about whether existing frameworks can withstand public pressure and the spiraling political fallout. Meanwhile, the EFF reacted with its trademark defiance. At an emergency press briefing at the party's headquarters in Bupantine, spokesperson Vianney Pambo condemned the warrant as a politically engineered attack on the continent's only revolutionary voice. He declared that Western nations were targeting Malema because he challenged global structural inequalities, accusing Britain of attempting to silence the EFF's commander-in-chief. His statements, laced with anti-imperialist sentiment and heated rhetoric, resonated powerfully with EFF supporters and further fanned the flames of public outrage. In response, the party announced a nationwide protest campaign under the hashtag #HandsOffMalema, with large marches planned in Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. Organizers expect tens of thousands to participate, framing the movement as a fight against neo-colonial interference and a defense of African sovereignty. However, security experts have warned that these mass demonstrations could escalate into violence, especially given South Africa's current economic hardship, widespread unemployment, and rising public frustration. Police officials are reportedly preparing for potential clashes, as recent protests have often devolved into confrontations between demonstrators and security forces. The tense atmosphere has heightened concerns about national stability, with some analysts warning that the situation could spiral into broader civil unrest if not handled with extreme caution. Adding to speculation, Malema recently cancelled all international engagements, including a scheduled keynote speech at the Pan-African Youth Forum in Accra, Ghana, citing security threats. His sudden withdrawal has fueled rumors that he fears arrest outside South Africa's borders and believes foreign governments may attempt to detain him. The timing of the Warrant's leak, so close to South Africa's national election cycle, has sparked widespread debate. Many observers suspect political manipulation aimed at weakening the EFF's momentum and fracturing opposition alliances. Political strategists warn that the unfolding saga could reshape electoral dynamics, potentially influencing voter sentiment and altering party strategies. At the same time, legal scholars note that if the UK files a formal extradition request, South Africa's judiciary will face a complex challenge. Judges would need to weigh the strength of British evidence, potential political motivations behind the charges, and South Africa's legal obligations under international agreements. Such proceedings could take years, involving multiple appeals and extended court battles. And given Malema's broad influence and passionate support base, any attempt to arrest or extradite him could trigger mass protests, strikes, or nationwide disruptions. For Ramaphosa's administration, the crisis represents a precarious balancing act. Failing to cooperate with the UK may strain relations with key allies and undermine investor confidence, especially at a time when South Africa's economy remains fragile. Conversely, appearing to side with foreign powers against a prominent opposition leader could erode domestic legitimacy and fuel claims of political bias. Ramaphosa's careful approach, asserting adherence to the law while refraining from taking sides, reflects the high-risk political landscape in which he must operate. Beyond the immediate political implications, the case touches deeper historical and ideological nerves. For many EFF supporters, the allegations evoke memories of selective justice, where African leaders who challenge Western dominance face prosecution while others aligned with global powers evade scrutiny. For others, however, the case underscores the urgent need for accountability across Africa, especially among political elites accused of enriching themselves at the expense of public welfare. The controversy thus highlights the broader struggle between post-colonial resistance narratives and the universal demand for transparent governance. As South Africa braces for intensified protests, diplomatic tension, and potential legal battles, the world watches closely. The Malema case could set a precedent in how African democracies handle politically sensitive extradition requests involving influential figures. It also tests the resilience and independence of South Africa's judiciary at a time when global attention is fixed on the country's political integrity. Although the UK has not yet formally submitted an extradition request, the political consequences of the warrant have already dramatically reshaped the national conversation. The situation remains fluid, uncertain, and volatile. Whether this crisis leads to prosecution, international standoff, negotiated compromise, or long-term political realignment, one thing is clear: its effects will continue reverberating throughout South Africa's political sphere, diplomatic relations, and international reputation for years to come.